Greetings! In this video I'm going to show you how to set up Tunnel Example D03. Using the business tunnel as configured in D03 will allow you to securely connect to your home computer from anywhere and browse the internet. Let's say that I'm traveling and I want to browse the internet. However, I want to make sure that the connection is secure so that no one can get my confidential information. Using the Georgia Softworks Business Tunnel, I can securely establish a connection from my laptop to my home computer and then confidently browse the internet without fear that my data is being viewed or gathered by some hacker wanting my contact list, credit card information, or who knows what else. This scenario allows me to browse securely from anywhere. Coffee shops, restaurants, libraries, hotels, airports, anywhere. Anywhere I have access to the internet. A really nice aspect is that once I configure this tunnel, I can use it anytime or all the time. The tunnel configuration here is the same configuration as in example D02. It is simply a different application of the same configuration. It's pretty versatile. So let's get down to business. Using the business tunnel, I will create an SSH tunnel from my laptop to my home computer. Then I will create a channel that is used for browsing. It only takes a few moments to do so. To create an SSH tunnel, we need to have an SSH server installed on my home computer, which I do. I also need to know the IP address of my home computer. If you don't know your IP address, you can just Google my IP from your home computer and your public IP address will be displayed. First, we will configure the tunnel. When we open up the business tunnel, we see the configuration summary page. Expand the configuration if it is not already expanded. Go to the configuration section and you will see tunnels and local port usage. Click on Tunnels. In the Tunnels List section, click New. The first configuration section specifies how to get to the SSH server. We need to give the tunnel a name, something recognizable. Since I am creating a tunnel to my home computer, and my home computer is named Thomas, I will name it Secure Tunnel to Thomas. For host, we put the address of the SSH server, which is the IP address. If you have a router that forwards to the SSH server host, you would use the router IP address. The tunnel uses port 22, which happens to be the default value here. In the authentication section, we fill out the credentials to access the SSH server. On my SSH server, I use username password authentication, so I put that information here. The more detailed section of the tunnel setup lets you set up the compression level, protocol, etc. The defaults are usually good, so I will leave them alone. Make sure you have the Enable this tunnel box checked. Click OK, and your tunnel is now configured. Now we will configure a channel for the tunnel we just created. Select the tunnel for which you want to create a channel. Then under the Channels List section, click New. For the name, again, we want to pick something that is recognizable. We're using this channel to browse the internet, so we will name it Browse from Anywhere. We will select Dynamic Forwarding Type since it gives us the most flexibility when browsing. The local address is set to the loopback address of my laptop. The local port number is an arbitrary available port on my laptop. Since the HTTP port is port 80, I like to keep my arbitrary ports recognizable. So I will add 10,000 to 80, giving me 10,080, which happens again to be the default here. We don't need to do anything with the remote address or the remote port for this example. Make sure that the channel is enabled and click OK. Now you'll notice that the Activate button is clickable. We need to activate the configuration changes. Then we can click on Activity and observe the tunnel and channel we just configured. Everything will say 0 at this point because we haven't started browsing yet. The last thing we need to do is to configure the internet browser to use the tunnel and channel information we just set up. We do this by using the browser proxy configuration. Each browser type has its own way to configure this, and I'm using Internet Explorer 11, so I'll show you how to do it using that one. Open Internet Explorer, select Tools, then Internet Options. Select the Connections tab and click the LAN Setting button. Check Use a Proxy Server for your LAN and click on the Advanced button. We want a SOCKS proxy server. We then enter the address of the port information that we used in the channel configuration. The address is the loopback address and the port the arbitrary port number. Click OK, then OK, then OK one more time, and we should be back to the browser again. Now the browser is using the tunnel that we just configured. We can be sure of this by going back to monitor the activity and seeing that the bytes downloaded and uploaded are incrementing. New Internet Explorer browsers that are open will retain this configuration information, so they will all be using the Business Tunnel as well. Now you can securely browse the internet. As long as the tunnel is enabled, anytime I open a new Internet Explorer browser or tab, it will use the tunnel and I will have a secure connection. If the network connection drops and reconnects, the tunnel will automatically be reestablished. If I restart the laptop, the tunnel will automatically start and all browsing with IE will be secure. I can truly set it and forget it.